there's a lot of things that you do that are skill-based sports are hard, just because the only way to get better at something, unless you're just naturally gifted, is you have to put the work in. And sometimes you get frustrated in the beginning, especially with a sport like golf, just because there's literally a million moving pieces and parts in a golf swing. So more than likely, you're gonna have to go through a rough patch in the beginning, just because everyone does. Now, there's ways to alleviate that, like getting lessons right from the beginning, learning the proper technique, not developing bad habits, all of those type of things, which I think really dive really great into marketing, because it's the same thing. And you have mastermind groups, you have marketing groups, you have all of these specific expertises across the web, and there are always communities that are passionate, built around those things. So that's kind of what that's where you want to look for your help. Golf, you have a coach, hopefully you got a trainer, you take lessons, you do those things. The same thing can apply to marketing. But Mike had some great analogies about how this really relays into, if you want to draw a parallel, if you're struggling with your marketing, then this is not any different than any other type of skill-based sport.
Yeah, I mean, so one of the things that we had talked to, because we had talked about golf the other day and how it had a lot of parallels, and I kind of was thinking almost like it really does, like even from the very part of your basics. Like the first time you play golf, you're not going to just go on hole one and start swinging. You're basically going to go to the driving range. And to me, that kind of parallels with doing the research. Mm-hmm. Understanding what kind of tools you have is just like understanding the different clubs that you have in your bag versus the different marketing channels.
Now let's talk a little bit about, there's two ways you can go. You can either go say, you know what, I'm gonna go figure this out on my own, or you can start off with lessons. The same thing applies.
Exactly. And even if you are trying to figure it out on your own, you're going to go to YouTube. You're going to go look at the kind of different channels. And the first time you do it and you fail, you either say, fuck it, it's not good for me, I'm not going to do this sport, or you're going to say, I'm going to dig a little bit deeper. I'm going to figure out what I did wrong. Let me go look at some of these other techniques and see if that works. And look, and that's something that even the best golfers will sit there and get outside advice. Hey, look at my swing. What am I doing different? What it is. And again, what we had said before was the feedback loop is, immediate in golf. Whether or not you're hitting the ball straight. If you're hitting it where you want it to go. But if you're not paying attention to what you're doing marketing-wise, like what the results are, you're going to just kind of keep swinging, and you could be missing, you could be hitting, you just don't know. Right. So that's why what we were talking about before. But some of the analogies I wanted to take into golf that I thought were pretty cool, as far as, again, the whole research that you would do beforehand to understand, like going to the putting green, getting all of those things in, hitting when you go to the driving range, you don't just hit your driver, you hit all the different clubs so that you can kind of understand the distance and what they're going to do for you and how that's going to affect your next hit. Then when you get to that hole one, you're sitting on the tee box, you don't just grab any random club, you basically look at the layout of the hole. How far is it? How, are there any hazards? Is there water near there? Do I have to hit it over water? Should I lay it up? So that all of those kind of strategies, you take that information, and pair it with the research you did. Like, okay, well, I know it's this far. That club hit it this far. Let me go ahead and swing this club. Or I know it's a narrow fairway. Maybe I need to take a more controlled stick as far as than a driver, so that I can kind of keep it in control. So, and as you approach, the other thing that I thought was kind of cool is you don't necessarily use, you never use the same club that you do in your tee box all the way through. And that's the same way with marketing. You're not going to use one marketing channel from start to finish. So there's like as you get closer to the hole, the same way that you get closer to the target of selling somebody something, your approach becomes more finite. It becomes very, very focused and dialed in. So the way, like when you get to the green, you're putting. It's a soft, very calm type approach. It's not very aggressive on your swing. And again, that's with everywhere. As you get closer, you're dialed more into the focus of where you're trying to go. So I think all of those things make a lot of sense when you start talking about marketing, because with marketing, you really do, sometimes you take a big swing and sometimes you have to take mulligans and you swing a lot. And a lot of people think driving is the biggest part because it's the most exciting, but really putting is where you do your best scores. Sure. So really when you're breaking down your marketing strategy, the more focused you get, the closer you get to your hole, you know, again, a lot of times it's your audience. If you got that audience dialed in a little bit more, it becomes a lot easier to score.
Yeah, if you don't know anything, you're throwing a big wide net out, spending a lot of money to figure that out. But if you can figure it out a little bit on the front side, it just saves you money in the long run. You know, just that way you're not, they call it spray and pray. You know, you're not just shooting the message out to everybody, qualified and unqualified. You know, if you do it that way, then it's going to be a longer, more expensive process. But if you can refine that customer avatar down, now you're being much more focused. Now you can kind of skip a step in the process, right? That's what people don't understand about marketing. Doing this blanket approach without having any kind of targeting from demographic standpoint or data standpoint, it's not that you can't be successful. It's just a longer path. And if you can really understand who your audience is, now you can get down into that more refined marketing much quicker, which is going to generate leads, which is going to generate appointments, generate sales. So that's kind of, you know, the whole point of this.
And also like create a network. So like when you go golfing, you don't usually go golfing by yourself. So a lot of times you can either find people that are in the same situation you are, but it's also good to find somebody that's a little bit better because they're going to help you along the way. They're going to give you a couple little tips.
I don't like playing with people that are worse than me, dude, or just the same. I like playing with people better. Yeah, it's frustrating to play with people worse than me because that's pretty bad.
Well, yeah, but you're just starting out, so it's
Don't
a little
play
bit
with
different.
Me then, because I've never really played. I've been to Top Golf, and I was horrible.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, it was humbling. I don't like being bad at something.
Yeah, then don't go do golf right now.
But again, that's part of the driving range. Like you kind of understanding the tools that you're doing with, and that's part of the start process. And again, you can decide whether or not you want to move forward with it. You're like, hell no, I'm not going to go on the golf course. I'll drive you around on the cart, but that's about it. But again, it's all about understanding who you are, taking those steps. If it was something that you knew you could be successful with or you had a little bit of hint of success, you'd go and get help. You know, you'd go and get somebody, hey, look at my swing. What can I do to improve on this? Or if it was something you're even passionate about, but it might not be something you really even care about. So marketing should be something everyone cares about if they own a business because they need to have some type of, you know, perception of how it works. And again, even though you get help from the outside, you still have to make those swings. So it's not necessarily, you can pay somebody else to do it, but to me, it's a lot more fun if you go and you actually take the swing yourself because then you understand exactly what it is. And when you're closing that deal, you understand you're that much closer to your audience. Mm-hmm. I think it's just a better way if you're an entrepreneur to really be involved with your business, to understand it. Obviously, get tools out there. Look, we have a lot of resources just with our videos on ways to help. But if you don't know something or you have issues with it, just like you would ask a golf pro or you'd ask somebody that was better at golf, ask us. We're wide open all the time. Find the media that you like, the channel that you like, whether it's Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, on our YouTube channel. Just reach out to us, and we'll do our best job to try to help you position what you need or answer your questions.
Yeah, hey, marketing's complicated, and so is golf. But I don't think there's any better feeling if you're a novice golfer when you hit that one ball and you hit it great. And the same thing happens when you have a breakthrough in marketing. You know, it's complicated, but the joy and the excitement when you hit the nail on the head, shit, there's nothing like it.